Hey YouTube, Kier Qualia here, bringing you all an update to my Cardfight Vanguard Blangdmire deck profile for post-Destined Showdown. We got some new support for the Blangdmire deck in the Set 4 Cardfight Vanguard booster set. Some really good support along with some adjustments made since we've gotten some of the newer promos for Blangdmire as well. Really having a lot of fun with the deck with its divine skill of being able to just take away your opponent's Vanguard's ability and then also have its own additional power with binding cards face down. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. We'll go ahead and start off with the ride deck consisting of the energy generator. Our starter is the grade 0 Cavity Militia. When wrote upon, if you went second, draw a card. Our grade 1 is Hollow Raptor. When wrote upon by Vacant Fang, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. Put all grade 1 or greater cards into the soul and put the rest in the bottom of the deck in any order. If you put 2 more cards in the soul, you draw a card. So just more of the soul buildup that you need for the bind face down ability of Blangdmire, with our grade 2 being Vacant Fang. When wrote upon by a grade 3 with Blangdmire in its card name, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. Put all grade 1 or greater cards from them among them into the soul and shuffle the deck. If you put 2 more cards, draw a card. So once again, consistency for the soul setup, being able to check the top 3 gives you better odds of putting cards into the soul as well. With our grade 3 being the Faded 1 of 0, Blangdmire, along with the copy of Blangdmire that we are running in the ride deck. We're also running 3 additional copies in the main deck as well. When this unit attacks a Vanguard, you bind 2 or more up to 4 cards from the soul face down. You may draw a card. If you're bound 4 more cards, your opponent chooses 2 of their rear guards and binds them face down, and this unit gets plus 5,000 power until the end of that battle for every 2 face down cards in your bind zone. So the more cards you have in your bind zone, the stronger Blangdmire gets. And its divine skill on the Vanguard at the beginning of the guard step of the battle that this unit attacked. If your bind zone has 8 or more face down cards, you may have this card get critical +1 till the end of turn. If you do, your opponent cannot call or play Sentinels from hand until end of turn. Choose one of your opponent's Vanguards, and until the end of your opponent's next turn, all of your opponent's and that unit's abilities are nullified. So getting rid of your opponent's units and that unit's abilities definitely takes away from the strength that your opponent may have. Being able to ride into a new Vanguard will activate the Persona Ride. So one of the ways to get out of the ability nullification of Blangdmire. The other grade 3s that we run in the deck are also the 4 copies of Single Strike Shatter Colossus. When this unit attacks a Vanguard, if your bind zone has 4 or more face down cards, you may have this unit get plus 10,000 till the end of that battle. If you do, at the end of that battle, put this unit into the soul. And when this unit is put into the soul by your card's ability, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Blangdmire in its card name, you can bind this card face down and draw a card. So it just helps to build up the bound face down cards needed for Blangdmire's divine skill, needing the 8 to do so and giving you draw power in the same sense to do so, along with just an additional plus 10,000 power. For the grade 2s, our new grade 2 is the Vaderock Dragon, which we're running 4 copies of this card. With this card, when it's placed on rearguard other than during the battle phase, Soul Charge 1, Counterblast 1, choose a grade 2 or less card with a different card name from this unit in your soul and call it to rearguard. If you have a Vanguard without Blangdmire in its card name at the end of that battle, put that card into the soul. So with this card, it sets up your field in case you are lacking with some of the setup for some of your rearguards to be able to attack. Being able to choose a grade 2 or less card with a different card name from this unit as well gives you a wide variety from cards you may have soul charged for your other cards' abilities. And during your turn, this unit gets plus 10,000 for every 4 face down cards in your bind zone, making it a formidable unit to be able to attack on its own again. Because if you have the same needed units for Blangdmire's divine skill, this card would be a 30,000 power unit on its own when attacking. Other grade 2s we run include the 4 copies of Steam Raider Zamoog. When placed on rearguard, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Blangdmire in its card name, Counterblast 1, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, put any number of cards from soul from among them, and shuffle in the deck. If you put 1 or more cards in the soul, you may draw a card. It's more set up for cards needed in the soul, and when it attacks, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Blangdmire in its card name, this unit gets critical is 1 or less. You can Energy Blast 3 to have it get plus 5,000 power and critical +1 to the end of that battle. Added pressure for a rearguard attack, because more than likely your opponent's going to try to either take the Blangdmire attack or at least attempt to guard it. So then you have another rearguard that can also then attack for pressure, and it's not a once per turn ability either. So if you have the means to restand it with some of the other cards we run in the deck, and you have the energy to use, you can Energy Blast again and have it get that critical once more for that battle. And then the rest of the grade 2s being 4 copies of Steam Gunner Tizkar. When it's put on the guard circle or discarded from hand while riding from the ride deck, you can Counterblast 1 or Energy Blast 3 to draw a card. And when it's placed on rear guard, if you Persona Road this turn, you can Counterblast 1 or Energy Blast 3 to Soul Charge 1. Until the end of turn, this unit gets boost. So provides more Soul Charge power along with being able to provide boost to another rear guard on the field potentially. And it makes use of the Energy Blast ability just like our Zamoog in the deck also. For the grade 1s, we're running 4 copies of Evoke Alchemist. During the battle, this unit boosted. If you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Blangdmire its card name, it gets plus 5,000 power. And when this unit boosts a grade 3 greater Vanguard with Blangdmire its card name, it gets plus 2,000 until the end of that battle. If your bind zone has 4 more face down cards, Counterblast 1, choose one of your front row rear guards and stand it. And if your bind zone has 8 or more cards face down, that unit gets plus 15,000 power. So this just provides your additional attack for the deck, being able to restand other cards, as I mentioned, can add additional pressure depending on the unit that restood as well. We just want to have the proper card for you to be able to boost with your Blangdmire as well. And it provides 5,000 boosts to the other rear guards, but it needs to boost Blangdmire to get that additional restand power for your other rear guard. So we're running 4 max of this card just so we have better odds of seeing it as well. There's a good chance we could soul charge it, so we want to make sure we can see it when we're calling units to rear guard. And also 4 copies of Netherworld Butcher. When it's placed on rear guard, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Blangdmire its card name, your opponent cannot intercept until end of turn, taking away from more guards your opponent may potentially have. So then it shuts down even more of the guard usage that your opponent could have when going up against Blangdmire. And on rear guard, when this unit boosts, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Blangdmire its card name, choose a card from your drop and you may put it into the soul. It's just additional setup power as well for your needed cards in soul, because you want to be able to at least potentially, bind 4 face down from your soul to get that initial setup with Blangdmire until you have the 8 bound cards in your bound zone. And also the 2 copies of Steam Artist's Arium. When this unit's placed on rear guard, you can Soul Charge 1. If you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Blangdmire its card name, look at the top 2 cards of your deck. Instead of Soul Charge 1, choose up to 2 cards from among them, put them in the soul. If you do not put 2 cards, shuffle the deck. And from the back row rear guard at the end of the battle, if the critical of your Vanguard with Blangdmire its card name was increased by Divine Skill, retire this unit and draw a card. And if your other unit with the same card name as this unit was not retired this turn, it gives your opponent the ability at the end of your ride phase, choose a card from your hand and discard it. If you did not discard a card, you cannot stride or ride until the end of turn. So it's more of a lockdown, making it even more difficult for your opponent to go into the Persona ride or the stride power once their Vanguard's ability has been nullified by Blangdmire. And the 1 copy of Elementaria Sanctitude and the 3 Sentinels to finish off the rest of the grade 1s in the deck, with our only other order being the 1 copy of Gradius Gradel. So we have more power for Persona ride in the deck as well, just to power up our front row and our Vanguard, with our trigger lineup being the 7 criticals, so 3 copies of Direful Doll Bethany and the 4 copies of Stem Deviate Dragon. With our next trigger choice, same premise with the Gradius Gradel and the Persona riding, 4 copies of Diablos Girl Natalia for the front trigger power and the additional 5k guard if need be, with our heals being the 4 copies of Direful Doll Alexandra and the over trigger of choice being Val Newt for its restand pressure for our rear guards additionally as well. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed. I'm really happy with the results of the deck. This is one I've definitely been focusing a lot on since the Divine series. I'm a real big fan of Suo from the series, so wanted to go as full power with this deck as I could. And as always, until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and Kira Qualia out.